And now for our finale, do we have Justin? Please join me in welcoming back Justin Steffen from our board of directors, partner at Ice Miller LLP, and the creative thinker behind our clever event name, De-Phi.
Thanks, Connie. I'll try to be brief. I know you guys have been here all day, but I wanted to ask, think for a moment, what's the kindest thing someone's done for you? I asked that question because I heard it. There's an investment podcast I really enjoy, and the host asks every guest he has that question, and the answers are amazing. Now, I don't know if it's the kindest, but it's definitely the thing that stands out the most in my mind. You see, I just had my first daughter, and she had been born with a collapsed lung. I guess that's not all that uncommon, and she's totally fine. But I didn't know that at the time, and I was pretty scared, understandably so. And I was sitting outside of the intensive care unit, kind of in the elevator bank on the floor in a daze. Somebody was standing right in front of me, and so I looked up, and the person extended a cup of tea. And he said, I thought you could use something warm to drink and somebody to talk to if you needed it. I was kind of dumbfounded, and we pretty much just sat there and drank our respective teas in silence. But that moment always stuck with me, and I was comforted at a very scary time. And I remember it many, 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 many years later. You see, kindness takes many forms. Charity and philanthropy are no different. In my mind, they're just organized acts of kindness. But regardless of their form, kindness or charity or philanthropy, whatever word you put to it, they're all intentional. They're deliberate. They're not an accident. I often contrast that, and I'm struck, and I was talking to my fellow panelists before our panel about this, that I'm struck by the fact that the industry, the virtual currency or distributed ledger or blockchain industry, is one of high ideals. Yeah, I asked my panelists to give me what they thought it represented, and it's a lot of the same words that you've heard a lot before, right? Transparency, trust, freedom, value. Have you ever been on crypto Twitter? People have very strong views on what these technologies represent. Bitcoin maximalists and altcoin proponents will clash like the Capulets and the Montagues. Probably more like the Hatfields and the McCoys, but that's okay. It's one of high ideals and one which people think is quite revolutionary. But I think what you've seen with the speakers today is that ideals divorced from action are somewhat hollow. And whether it's a steam engine or an automobile or money, today's innovation is going to be tomorrow's artifact. It doesn't diminish the import of these advances, but it only means that our ability to create, to make change, that was another big word we heard, to make change is limited. But that's not a bad thing, and it's not something to be sad about, because if history is any guide, there is a way to transcend time, to forge a lasting legacy. Educational philanthropic institutions from people like Carnegie and Vanderbilt and Rockefeller, they're still here today. They're still making an impact. Just like that cup of tea stayed with me for a decade. Acts of charity, acts of philanthropy, acts of kindness can live long beyond the doom of death. I think that my fellow panelist, Itzel, said it best. She said, if you want happiness, help someone. I'm going to steal that. I just did. And that's why I joined BitGive. Rodolfo hinted at that. I told them. He asked, well, I joined BitGive because I saw them taking technology, harnessing distributed ledgers and virtual currencies, and using that for charity. Not to make money, to make change. I was hooked. And you probably, if you've been on this long, heard Dan Pallotta speak. I'm so excited that Connie was able to get Dan to come talk. I've listened to Dan's TED Talks like, 30 times or something like that. And one of his TED Talks, he talks about a generosity of thought. It's a beautiful idea that we need to move beyond the somewhat myopic concept of overhead and expand the pie of charitable giving. It's something that I agree with. But I would like to supplement Dan's generosity of thought with a generosity of action. Whether it's forming a crypto charitable foundation or allowing your charitable foundation to accept crypto donations, whether it's contributing to organizations like BitGive, or maybe it's just attending a cleverly named conference. Thanks, Connie, for that shout out. Maybe it's just offering a stranger a cup of tea. I encourage you all to continue to act, and hopefully together we can form our own lasting legacy. So on behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank Connie and Amy and Brittany and all of our sponsors. You heard Connie name them, but Vesper, BitPay, Vector Crypto Capital, BitGo, Elizabeth Rossiello, Axis Flip, Crypto Financial, Fidelity Charitable, all our event partners, Termolin, Watkins and Brandt, the Global Blockchain Business Council, Cryptomatic. I'd like to thank everybody on the call still. Thank you for joining us for this first of its kind event. I know we raised a bunch of money with the auction and with donations, and that's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. If you haven't yet donated and you want to, I'm sure we can put the link up again. It's not too late, but there's a lot of ways to make an impact, and just being here today, I think, represents a lot. So thank you all. Thank you for coming. Let's form our legacy together. Connie?
Thank you so much, Justin. What a incredibly thoughtful and inspiring closing for our event. Thank you again, everyone. It's been an incredible day and such an honor, truly, for me, and I hope all of our guests today, to hear from all of these amazing leaders across the globe. We are just incredibly thankful for everyone's participation today. We hope to see you on our Slack channels, on our social media, and we'll hopefully next year at the next De-Phi event, unless Justin can come up with another clever name. And I wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and we'll follow up with everyone that we need to follow up with, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you so much.